situation with Florida, right? You've got a 7-0 team, but they've made a coaching change. I'm sure they're going to keep the same, structure and systems and whatnot, but how do you handle facing a team in that situation?
From our perspective, I don't know that we do anything different, to be honest with you. I think we focus on, as if from a hockey perspective only, we focus like we normally would to play against Florida, especially, that there is no real adjustments, probably their systems and all that stuff's going to be the same. Obviously, there's a lot going on there, so I can't speak to that within their own dressing room. That's the hockey perspective. Just from a life perspective, I think all of us in our locker room, probably our biggest thoughts are just, I know me personally, I'll speak for myself, just my heart going out to Kyle Beach, to John Doe in Houghton, Michigan, in what they've had to go through at the hands of a predator, and something that's not going to go away, that they'll have to live with the rest of their life. So from a personal perspective, I think in our room we all recognize, and not recognize, that's not the right word. We all have a great sympathy for what those two have to go through, and any others, but from a hockey perspective, we'll focus on trying to win a hockey game against Florida, in that we think the Florida team will look very similar to what it's looked like through the course of this early part of the season.
St. James.
Jeff, just with everything that's come out this week, has there been anything within the organization, just a reminder or kind of, if you have anything to report, this is how to do it, anything like that? Just
first off, I think that's something that we try to stay on top of on a number of matters, not just pertaining to this particular hotline, but there's a number of things that our players go through that we want to make sure that there's support for them here, and we certainly have discussed that and we'll continue to discuss that. Yep.
Ted Colton.
Jeff, this might be piggybacking off Helena's question to a certain degree, a certain angle, but I don't know, you guys, Florida, Boston, Chicago, what can the league do collectively to, make sure this doesn't happen again in the future or whatnot?
That's a great question. Probably a bigger question than this particular moment. I think there's a lot that goes into that question. The first part, in the most important part, is doing everything possible to not be in situations where people are exposed to predators, but that's sometimes impossible to understand and know, and that to me is a huge part of this, and when that type of action happens, no matter what happens after, it doesn't take away the fact that action happened, and it's something that none of us would ever want to subject anybody to. So I think from our perspective, again, we have to make sure that we understand, that our players understand their support here for them in a lot of different areas, and we have to make sure that we're making the best decisions we can with our players and our staff and our anybody around us, their personal lives first and foremost.
That's good. Thanks for that, Jeff.
Yep.
Other questions we have this morning? Thanks, everyone.